Hey guys, my name is Max and today I'm going to be showing off how I learned how to claw and the best method I'd say for learning it within Halo 5. So to start off, the gameplay in the background is a bit of FFA gameplay I got, and this was done about 3 or 4 days after I learned how to claw. And this was after I went through a lot of the hurdles I got to sort of get my accuracy back. So throughout history, I've sort of had quite a few controller layouts. I mean, I started playing Halo 4 in 2012 on the default Halo 4 settings, so I never really learnt recon or anything like that. And I played on those settings up until I think mid 2015. When I decided to learn bumper jumper, and that took me about a week to sort of get used to fully, but after that I had the controller layout laid down. And then about a few weeks ago I decided to learn how to claw, and I decided to stick with bumper jumper, so I was able to sort of keep the movement that I liked, and I sort of found that slide jumps and things worked a lot easier on bumper jumper. Playing both claw and bumper jumper also makes sort of aiming and the Spartan abilities work really well in tandem with the jump button and sort of clamber mechanics, and I feel if I change that I'd sort of be losing an advantage. One reason I learned how to claw is because in the sort of default grip I sort of always have my thumb in a slightly different position to a lot of other players, so I would often find myself pegging the right stick, so I would push it all the way to the left and all the way to the right. So my aim sort of plateaued at sort of the mid-platinum level, and I thought there is no way I can improve this. And then when I changed up to claw, I found myself in a much more natural position, and it just felt so much better to aim once I got my aim back to normal. And I've since now managed to push myself from sort of platinum 3 and 4 to diamond 1 in Slayer and free-for-all. I found the actual button pressing itself really easy to pick up, sort of using my middle finger to push on the trigger and my index finger to sort of press all the face buttons. That was pretty easy to pick up, but the biggest thing to note is that your accuracy is going to take a huge dip at first, and getting it back will take time, and that's just because your thumb is in a much more elevated position. So in regards to Halo 5, I'm just going to list the sort of route I took going back into the game after I learned how to claw. As when I started, it was almost impossible for me to aim, my stick was flying around all over the place. And then this gameplay on the screen right now is sort of an example of it getting much better. This isn't it back to its full, so there are times where I will accidentally peg the stick left and right by mistake, but this was sort of just a transitional period. So the first thing I did is I went on to Warzone Firefight, and I only played that game mode pretty much exclusively for 2 days. And that was just because it was a lot more forgiving for if you made mistakes with your button movements, and I sort of focused on using the pistol, aiming at the heads of things like crawlers, soldiers, grunts and jackals, so that I could just try and focus on just hitting those headshots and getting my pistol aim back up, because your assault rifle aim won't go away too much, because the assault rifle is so much more close quarters and the only time you'll use it is up close and personal, but your pistol will suffer a lot, and I don't think I was able to hit a perfect until about a week and a half after I started clawing, and then it took me about 3 weeks before I could hit perfect a couple of times per game. After I'd sort of got my aim back in Warzone Firefight and I found that I was sort of first or second place for a lot of the games, I went back to sort of Warzone Assault. The reason I decided to play Warzone Assault is because, again, it's a casual game type, and I found that it was a lot more forgiving for if you made a lot of mistakes. You get quite a lot of lives, you get a long game time, and it wasn't quite the same as Warzone with a lot of the tactics. Warzone Assault is also very similar to FFA in the sense that you will always be running into gunfights really often because of how fast paced the game mode is, and you'll often be finding yourself using your loadout weapons. I was playing a lot more sort of controlled because I felt that I wasn't winning enough gunfights, so I would often choose engagements based on if I felt I had the upper hand, and this actually improved my mental game in Halo 5 a lot, and I feel like if you went straight into arena, it'd be much more difficult because almost no engagement you'd be able to go in and win. After playing Warzone Assault, I decided to go on to Infection, so I could actually get much more up close and personal battles in. I always found that I was picking up the sniper as much as possible, because body shots were always a one-shot kill, so I tried to focus on hitting as many of those as possible, because my precision weapons were sort of getting back to where the pistol was taking maybe 7 shots to kill someone, and I wanted to really improve my sniping. And I found at points my sniping was actually getting better than it had ever been before through clawing. So I definitely felt that difference once I had just played a bit more Infection, and I always made sure I grabbed the sniper, because a lot of players don't seem to pick it up just because it's not as powerful as the precision weapons. And I devoted about 2 or 3 days to just purely Infection, and then I started getting back more into Team Arena and other arena playlists. But I say the one that really lifted off the most was FFA, just because how fast paced it is, and you're always running into gunfights, and how unforgiving it is when you make really big mistakes. You have to be on top form all the time. And I found once my accuracy was back, the reason that it was able to push further forward than what my regular grip was doing was because of FFA. I really felt that I could not seem to get better on my current grip, and then when I learned how to claw, I definitely felt the difference. I mean, being able to aim and sort of move and sprint and thrust around was much needed for me, and I could feel the map movement was just so much more fluid. I also felt I had more time to sort of focus on my strafe once I learned how to get my aim back, because I could just focus my entire left hand or left thumb just completely keeping my strafe together, and it allowed me to push much further forward. My regular grip was sort of keeping my thumb in a place I really did not like it to be, because I was pegging too much. And once I had learned how to claw, it was sort of forced me to move it into that more natural position, and it was worth learning. A lot of people say clawing is sort of irrelevant now, but it is something that can still give you an upper hand in Halo 5. I would recommend clawing for people in Halo 5 just because of the Spartan abilities and being able to, say, get out of a situation that you feel you may lose by being able to aim your thrusters and still aim in a gunfight, because by adding clawing it can only add benefits, as it takes as much away from your aiming and your shooting and puts it into other fingers on your hands as possible, so it makes that aiming really concentrated. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd just like to thank everyone who watched the Forge map showcase I put up on the channel a few weeks ago. That one is on about 1,500 views, which is absolutely incredible, and I never expected it from that video. I've also got really great feedback, and if you have any for this video, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. So thank you for watching this gameplay commentary, and I'll see you in the next video.